with just a basic chest opener, just to start to wake up those muscles, loosen up a little bit. Let that chest stretch out. Let the front of those shoulders stretch out as you pull those arms back. It's all right if you bounce a little bit. Just make sure you're not causing any discomfort. Next up, let's go into some arm circles. Going to move through these quickly. You're going to be doing a bit of a full body death stretch today. Switch that rotation. So I started by pulling those arms back. Now I'm going to pull those arms up and forward. Great job. All right. Fantastic. All right, next up, we're going to do some bends side to side. So I'm going to go in a slightly wide stance, feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And then from there, take that left hand, just slide it down your left leg. As you do so, raise that right arm towards the ceiling. Just going to make a nice bend at the torso. I feel a pull in those obliques, maybe up even into the ribs a bit. Now we're going to switch sides. Take the right hand, slide down the right leg. Point that left hand up towards the ceiling. Get that nice bend in the torso. Try to relax the core a little bit. See if you can't get a little bit of a stretch. We're going to do that one more time each side. Left hand, slide down the left leg. Point the right hand towards the sky. And if you slightly turn with your chest facing the floor, you actually could get a nice stretch in those erector spinae muscles right outside of your lower back. That can feel real nice. Here we go. Right hand, right leg. Point your left hand towards the ceiling. Hold that. Nice. And return to center. Fantastic job. All right, next up, we're going to do some basic forward folds. Keep those feet in the same position. And then from here, we're just going to fold forward. Try to hinge the hips as you go down to start to get a pull in those hamstrings. You can go ahead and bend your back to help you get down further if you need to. And then we're just going to kind of hang here for a second. Keep those legs straight. Feel that pull in the hamstrings, but just allow those arms to kind of hang. Let that low back stretch out a little bit. Great job. Hold that just a few more seconds. Fantastic. All right, we're going to walk ourselves back up, reset. If you had some of the blood rush into your head, we'll take just a second to breathe. But then we're about to go right back down. And we're going to go down into that same position. Now from here, you can go into a slightly wider stance. Walk your hands over to your left foot. I'm grabbing onto my left foot with my left hand, and then I'm taking my right hand, I'm rotating, pointing that hand towards the ceiling, opening up the chest. So we're doing very similar to what we did with those side bends, except now we're fully opening up the chest, going a little bit lower, a little bit deeper. Fantastic job. Now let's go ahead and walk your hands over to your right foot. Grab onto your right foot with your right hand. Take your left hand, point it towards the ceiling. Open up that chest. Pull that left arm back as far as you can. Nice job. Take a couple deep breaths in this position. Fantastic job. Go ahead and walk those hands back to center, and then we're going to walk ourselves back up. Very nice job. All right, next up, we're going to get a few rotations in. So we're going to get some spinal twists going. Going to stand up completely straight, tighten your core, and then from here, we're just going to twist side to side. I'm not bouncing too hard, but don't be afraid to use a little bit of that movement to help get you turned over to the side. Really important thing with this, make sure you keep that core tight because we want that low back to stay stable. Want a lot of this movement to come from our mid back. If you loosen up that core, then you start to get more movement at the low back and the hips, and that's not what we're looking for. So keep that core tight. Twist left, twist right. You guys are doing great. Fantastic. All right, moving on. We're going to work a little bit more on that back. We're going to do a standing cat stretch. So to do this, going to have you extend your arms in front of your chest. Take one deep breath in, and then as you exhale, press your arms and your shoulders as far forward as you can, rounding your mid-back, tucking your chin. And then inhale, return to your starting position, pack those shoulders. So we're pulling the shoulders back and down, opening up the chest. Breathe in, and then as you exhale, press your arms out in front of you, round your mid-back, tuck your chin. And then just kind of continue this motion following your breathing. Inhale, return to starting position. Exhale, go into your cat stretch. Nice job. Let's do one more. Great job, guys. All right, we're going to move down to the legs. Going to go into the quads next. So, going to go ahead and grab on to that left foot or ankle, whatever is most comfortable. Take that knee, if it's kind of hanging out to the side here, just bring it in close towards your midline, and then we're going to hold. Now, the further back that you pull that foot, the bigger stretch you're going to get in the quad. Just make sure that if you're pulling your leg back, that you're not putting a big arch in your back. We're not looking for that arch. Want to keep those hips neutral. Hold that a few more seconds. If you have trouble getting down and reaching the foot or the ankle, you can start from a seated position, and then as you're seated, reach down, grab that foot, and bring it out to your side. So you can do this standing or seated. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. So now I am grabbing onto my right foot. This is a great opportunity to kind of test out your balance, work on that. But if you are not able to hold your balance for more than a few seconds, I would recommend leaning up against a wall, grabbing onto a chair or a desk next to you. That way you can really focus on the stretch. And we're working with big muscle groups here. So if you're kind of sore in the quads right now, maybe you did a leg day recently, then you really could spend 90 to 120 seconds holding each one of these stretches. But for time's sake, we're going to move on. But this is a great one to go back to throughout the day if you are tight in those areas. All right. Next up, we're going to move to a hip flexor stretch. So we're going to do a standing hip flexor stretch. I'm going to go into a staggered stance. Right foot forward. Left foot, keep your heel driven into the back behind you. And now from here, I'm going to activate my core and my glutes, and I'm going to start to drive my hips forward. You don't want to go further than what your heel can handle. If that heel pops up, drop it back down. But drive those hips forward, keep your torso upright, and we're going to feel a bit of a stretch on the left side of our hip flexors. If you really try to squeeze the glutes, you're going to get a deeper stretch. Hold that for a few seconds. And as you do, take your left arm. We're going to extend it overhead. Get a little bit further into that stretch. Try to think about touching your shoulder to your ear, extending that straight overhead. Now from here, we've got our left arm up in the air. Go ahead and slightly rotate your torso to the right. Keep that chest open. And return to center, drop the arm. Fantastic job. We're going to do the same thing, other side. Stagger stance, left foot in front, right heel on the ground behind us. Go ahead, squeeze your glutes in your core. Drive your hips forward. We're kind of tucking our pelvis. Gonna feel a stretch on the right side of our hip flexors. Harder you squeeze the glutes, deeper of a stretch you're gonna get in those hip flexors. Take that right arm, extend it overhead. Try to think about touching shoulders to ears. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And then rotate that torso to the left. Nice. And return to center. Drop the arm. And we are done. Fantastic, guys. Thanks so much for sticking in there. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Stefan.
Thank you, Stefan, and good luck.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you
everything,
so
Stefan.
much.